All righty, here we go, Mississippi Outdoors Radio. We're glad you're here today with us. As always, brought to you by the Foundation Wildlife Fisheries and Parks. Folks, they do wonderful work for youth, like of course, archery in schools, which is just beyond cool is what it has become, how huge it has become. Also, they get licensed for young people who just completed their hunter education courses. They bring you Mississippi Outdoors TV, Mississippi Outdoors Radio, and much more. And they also bring you this show here today. We're glad you're here with us. We're going to do some FAQs. You know what that is, Rhino, right? FAQs?
Frequently asked questions.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do them. We'll even take yours today, as a matter of fact. Major Chris Reed with the Law Enforcement Bureau is here, and he has his tie on. I love it when the session's in town. He comes in all dressed up to the nines.
Well,
he's all shined up. You look good, sir.
Keep on talking, man.
You do. I mean, you look at him, man. He's all ready to go, isn't he, Butler?
He is.
Ready.
Looking sharp.
Well, he's looking sharp.
Well, we try. You got a new haircut?
We got his new haircut. He's got his tie on. Everything.
Yeah,
I need my sunglasses on. I'm getting a glare off. That badge is shining good. I like it.
I bet his boots are shine, too. Can't see the boots, but I bet they're shine.
I like it.
Man.
I like it.
Well, thank you.
I like it a lot.
Thank you.
Adam Butler is here. I'm not being facetious. I'm being serious.
I'm not going to say that
I'm being serious. I like it. I like the way you look good today.
Thank you.
Adam Butler, I can't say. No, I'm just kidding. Glad you're here today with you as well.
I don't have a tie, JT.
I know you don't. I understand. You're not.
We could probably work on that if you would wish. We could probably see if Wildlife Fisheries Bureau could get a tie to go with their winter uniforms.
He's got that cool winter shirt on.
Is it a snap-on or is it real?
Well,
or do you want to? Well, you want to just leave that?
They're like those ties you used to wear when you were in preschool, the little snap-on. But it's an officer safety deal.
Yeah, sure.
So if you have a real necktie goes around your neck and you got a knot and you get in a scuffle and somebody wants to grab a hold of your tie, they could choke you with it.
That makes
a great point.
If they grab it now, it just pops right off, and you look at them like, you got my tie.
Give it back, buddy, or you're just going to have trouble. That's a great point. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I tried to embarrass you, and you turned it around. And you ended up winning that one.
Yeah, well,
there you go.
I like your cool shirt, too, though. That's a comfortable-looking cool shirt right there.
Green shirt.
How are you, pal?
We're good, JT. We're getting at the end.
I thought it just started.
I know. It just seems like just the other day it was October 1st, and we were talking about how quickly the summer went by, and now.
But if you remember, the opening weekend of bow season this year was 97 degrees for the high.
That's right.
So we were kind of critical of, it's so hot, and now I mean I could go back and I probably wouldn't go hunting, but. It seems like it goes by so fast now.
Yep. So if you haven't gotten the big one yet, you better get on it because for most of the state, the folks down in the southeast zone still have a couple of weeks left. They go all the way to the 15th.
You can get that for you there.
Most of the state
only down there.
Yeah, most of the state just a few more days. Duck season, a few more days.
Of course, youth and veterans need to get out there. You got that going on. You got we got waterfowl and deer coming to a close. What I believe it ends. What is that?
Friday. 31st.
Yeah.
Most of the state we're going to close on the 31st for deer. Like I said, that southeast zone goes to mid-February, and then for most everybody, the waterfowl season will close on the 31st, which is a new thing because normally it has been closing yesterday,
the last Sunday.
But thanks to our congressional delegation.
Cindy Hyde Smith was behind that.
There you go.
Cindy Hyde Smith was the one that got that pushed that through.
We got all the way to the 31st, and if you're a youth or a veteran, you actually are going to get a little bit more than that. We have the youth special season has been around for a couple of years. This year, because of that same bill that extended the regular waterfowl to the 31st, veterans are also able to participate in that
veterans
special season.
And active military personnel.
Yeah.
Now, how long does that go?
It'll just be one day.
Next Saturday, February 8th.
Yeah.
It'll give a week off. I think the thought behind that was you give the ducks some chance to kind of shake their head from all the persistent hunting and not give you an extra youth or veterans day on February 1st.
Right.
And you're not really gaining anything. You get a week off. You will have some success. More so, let them stack back up, and get a little less pressured. So
the feds, the Fish and Wildlife Service, gives the states 2 days to do this special youth veteran season. Mississippi chooses to split that up where we have one special day on the front end before the regular season and then one special day on the back end. And so this is youth under the age of 16 and then also veterans. And I know, Chris, we've had a lot of questions about that. You know, I mean, if who's eligible as a veteran? Do you have to be active duty? Could you have ever served? Do you have to be retired? What kind of paperwork do you have to have? I know there's a lot of questions out there about that since this is the first year of having that.
Would you like me to answer it?
Yeah, man.
Copy of your DD 214. Any military folk out there will know what that is. Just a copy of it showing your service history. Obviously, if you're in active duty, you'll have those orders or can produce that, and then a retired military ID card would actually show. So there's a veteran. You have to serve a certain amount of time to get veteran status.
Mm-hmm.
And so all that stuff's listed on our website. You can also call us if you got any questions. And we've mirrored some other states and talked to some of our veterans that serve, you know, with us in our agency.
But is it safe to say that if you have served long enough to have gotten veteran status, you probably are aware of the paperwork that shows that?
Yep.
So.
All right, and we want folks to take advantage of that if you can. The turkey season draw hunt is open this week.
Still those are open. You know, those are really popular, so those run through February 15th, so you got a couple more weeks to sign up for that.
Now, big news coming out of the commission meeting last week, an extended deer season for North Mississippi, which includes all 19 counties in the North Mississippi CWD management zone, and this is a pretty liberal
That's right, JT.
hunting
so
opportunity.
after we just got through saying for most folks in the state, Friday is going to be the last day of deer season, we got to circle back and we've got to clarify this. So you're right. In last week's commission meeting, they voted to have an extended deer opportunity in the North Mississippi CWD zone, February 8th and 9th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday.
It doesn't go from Friday through February 9th. It's only February 8th and 9th. So deer season ends Friday. Is that right? And that
correct.
The
31st.
last day?
Yeah.
31st. Deer season ends Friday. Then we're going to take a week off for the CWD North Zone, and then you can come back Saturday and Sunday, and they want you to kill some deer. In fact, a very liberal bag limit.
That's right. And there's going to be a couple of things that are specific to this season. It is going to be a weapon of choice, so you can hunt with whatever you like. It's private and public lands. So, you know, the WMAs that are up there are going to be open. Charles Ray Nix, Hell Creek, Malmason, O'Keefe, Tuscumbia, Upper Sardis, all those are open. Your bag limit will start over. So whatever you have harvested prior to this during the normal season doesn't count. So bag limit's going back to on private lands. You're looking at 2 bucks, 5 does. 1 buck can be sub-antler criteria. On private lands, on some of our WMAs, they both need to meet antler criteria. The real kicker, though, is mandatory check-in for CWD sampling. So
now my question, I'm going to stop you there. When you say mandatory check-in, is there going to be a penalty if you don't, Major Reed?
Yeah, this regulation will be similar to enforced that's a tough one. Enforced the way that we have enforced, you know, like if we do a no boating, no wake zone in an area, closed per executive order. This was also issued through an executive order, and so if people don't they don't say, I'm just going to hunt and I'm not checking the deer in. You have until the end of the day to check your deer in and drop a sample off, and so you can be cited for not following this regulation.
Mm-hmm. And what we're basically saying is all 19 counties in the North Mississippi CWD management zone, it's February 8th and 9th, mandatory CWD sample submissions the day of harvest of all harvested deer. You can utilize existing freezers or one physical check station in CWD positive counties. Still hunting only on public and private land, so no dog hunting. Weapons of choice, WMAs, Charles Ray Nix, Hell Creek, Malmason, O'Keefe, Tuscumbia, and Upper Sardis. 2 bucks. 1 buck may be sub-criteria, And private lands in Upper Sardis WMA and Holly Springs National Forest are 5 does. All WMA areas, 2 bucks. Both must meet antler criteria, and 5 does. We'll talk more about that when we return. As we continue, we're talking with you. Special deer season, of course, we've been announced for the northern CWD zone, all 19 counties up there. It happens February 8th and 9th. It'll be a week from this weekend. Mandatory CWD samples, and we want folks to make sure that they follow through with that. Chris Reed, Adam Butler here as we continue with Mississippi Outdoors Radio. John is in Oxford. John, what's on your mind?
Well, the deer season is what I'm calling in about, this special season that you've opened up only in the northern part of the state. In my opinion, it's an effort to shoot more deer. You're not getting rid of the CWD. The state says we need more samples. My understanding is there's been approximately 5,000 samples taken.
Right.
There've been around 30 deer tested positive. So you've got your percentages of your numbers of how many deer supposedly had it. If you shoot another 5,000 deer, you're going to find that maybe another 30 are tested positive, and you've killed 4,770 deer that don't have the disease. And you're saying that we need to shoot all these does. I'm a member of a large club over on the Mississippi River. I live in Oxford, and we have our own private biologist hiker. He advises us every year to quit shooting does around December the 1st because of they've been bred. You're shooting pregnant deer. A person that's in the livestock business, that's raising cattle, hogs, pigs, goats, whatever he's raising, he don't go out there and shoot his livestock that are going to be producing babies for him. And it's the wrong time of the year to open up the state to just shooting does. I think it's an effort by the state to kill as many deer as possible in this area to try and keep the disease from spreading. And that's the same thing the state of Wisconsin did back several years ago, and it didn't work. They still got the disease. They shot up all the deer, and it's just changed. It's not going to do any good to come up here and shoot up a bunch of deer because that Upper Sardis management area and that Holly Springs National Forest, the population levels are pretty low out there as they are now.
And how do you know that, John?
I lease 400 acres that joins Upper Sardis Wildlife Management Area.
Right.
We have a hunting club on. I don't deer hunt there. I hunt out of state a lot in Illinois and I hunt on the Mississippi River in the Coahoma County.
But I mean, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck with you. This is JT talking, John. But we have no data that can tell us how many deer we have in the state because we don't have a game check in the state of Mississippi.
Right, and I think that's another problem. That's been a problem for years.
Well,
until
I get
the state comes up with a tagging system on white-tailed deer and on turkeys, we're going to always have that.
Well,
problem.
we have it on turkeys. No, gentlemen, would you all like to handle this, or would you like me to do it? It's up to you.
Well, yeah, JT, I'll say a few words if I can. The impetus for this special season is to increase the number of samples we're getting in that part of the state. If you look at Tennessee, so we feel like this disease, or at least this outbreak of this disease, probably originated from Tennessee, but it spilled over into northern Mississippi. If you look at the map of where all the samples fall in both Tennessee and Mississippi, you'll see that on the Tennessee side of the line, they have quite a few more. I'm calling from memory, but I think Tennessee has documented 400 positives, and they have taken about 12,000 samples just in those counties of southwestern Tennessee that are north of Mississippi. Our number of samples in those counties of northern Mississippi where the CWD zone is not nearly to that level, and we want it to be. We really the caller's talking about reducing the deer herd and some of the things that Wisconsin did. We're not far enough along in this process at this point to make the recommendations on what we're going to do long term. We're still in the game of trying to isolate where the disease is and what the prevalence rate is, where it's found. And so that requires having a lot of samples, and that requires being able to document those sort of things. And so this was seen as an effort by our commission to increase the number of samples we get. Like we talked about before the break, every deer that's killed during these 2 days has to be sampled. If Chris Reed and his guys catch you with a deer that has not been sampled or that you've not turned in to be sampled, you're going to get a citation. And so the whole underlying thing here is we want more samples from that area. And I've heard a lot of the rumors and seen some of the stuff, on the internet and other places about the state coming in and you're going to shoot all the deer. We don't want to do that. We want hunters to utilize this resource, but we also want the information from the sample. So this is an opportunity to allow the hunters to take advantage of the resource, have a couple extra days in the woods, and get samples that we, the State Wildlife Agency, can use to try to continue mapping out where this disease is and where it isn't.
Which you were going to get either way, and what you're doing is you're giving the hunters the opportunity to do this for you rather than the department having to do it. And that's the bottom line. And I want to address this, and Nick brings this up and I've heard this so many times. And talking about, well, these deer have been bred. Well, guess what? A doe killed October 1st drops the same number of fawns as the doe killed on February 1st, okay? And I know that's hard for a lot of people to wrap their mind around, and I understand that. But what the department, or rather I should say not the department, the commission decided this. Adam Butler didn't decide this. Chris Reed didn't decide this. Nobody in the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks decided this. This came from the commission, and the commission basically said, rather than us having to go and do this, let's give the opportunity to the hunters. Heck, I know a lot of people that are thrilled about this. They get an extra weekend at the deer camp, man. And I know some people that are saying, I didn't get what I needed, and the weather hadn't cooperated, or I hadn't had this, I hadn't had that, and I get one more shot at putting some meat in the freezer.
Right.
I think this is a wonderful opportunity.
JT, don't have to tell you. I know you've done a great job on the show of trying to encourage hunters to turn in samples and utilize those drop-off freezers and that sort of thing. I think the novelty of this extra couple of days is going to really push a lot of people over the edge to take advantage of it and bring samples into us. So right now, all the existing freezers, the drop-off freezers that have been in place, will continue to be in place. So if you've utilized those already, those will be there, and that can be how you mandatorily turn in your sample. We're also going to have 5 check stations scattered around the region. So this will be kind of the old school.
Will it be
way
around,
back.
or will it be in the 5 counties that are positive?
It will be right now. We're looking at Charleston, Batesville, Bahia, Lamar, and Pontotoc. So
they'll be manned with
they will be manned by wildlife staff to be there. You pull up, we'll take the sample from the deer you have, and you go on your way.
Have you got have y'all finalized like a time period there where it's 8 to 5?
I haven't heard that. We can, we got a couple of weeks, I think, between now and then. Next week we'll try to get that info out. I have not heard exactly what the times will be, but that's what we're looking at. So, but again, just reassure the caller. I mean, our interest is trying to figure out where this disease is and where this isn't, and we're using this special 2-day season as an opportunity to get hopefully a big increase in samples,
right,
over what we already have up there.
Folks, I know that this is tough on a lot of people. This disease has been tough on a lot of people. I know people have been upset about the feeding ban. I know people have been upset about this or that. The problem is this, and I know the last caller was going, you try to get rid of this disease. We're not going to get rid of this disease. All we're going to be able to do is manage this disease, and that's what this is all about, is trying to manage this disease and keep it in check as best we can. We will always, and from this point further, be known as a CWD positive state.
Right. And like I said before, JT, I want to stress, I mean, I know we're 2 years in, and we've talked about it a lot on the radio show, and folks have probably seen it for a while on social media and stuff like that. But in the grand scheme of things, that's still very, very early in dealing with this disease. Caller talked about Wisconsin. They've had it for 20-something years. Right. So we're still very much in the process of trying to figure out where we're at, what the prevalence is, where's the disease at, the very basic information that we need to have to then go forward and make any kind of recommendation on management, which reducing deer density may be one of those recommendations, but we're not to that point yet in dealing with this thing. Just got a text, JT, those check stations will be manned 8 to 7 by our staff.
All right.
So,
and I mean, we're trying to make this as convenient as possible. There's going to be more areas, so if you're in that area, you don't have to just necessarily go to Enid. There's going to be other places where you can go and do this, and we'll run those down when we come back. Let's make sure we get those out there for people to understand this. And again, folks, these deer were going to be sampled one way or another, and the commission decided to put it back into the public's hands to give them the opportunity to not only harvest more deer, but to put more meat away for the season, to feed your family, to have another weekend at deer camp. And I don't know anybody that's going to be against having another weekend at deer camp, except maybe somebody's wife.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's the only person I know
And
that
you can say you're trying to do for the greater good. And you're
might.
trying
Right,
to help
and
the
if your
state.
wife's
I don't even
upset
want to
about
go,
it,
but
say,
I need to.
honey, I don't even really want to go, but I need to do this for
For our future.
Y'all know I'm kidding,
Right.
But really, that's the way you should look at this. And I know we're laughing and joking about that, but look at it like this: this is another opportunity for you to go up and hunt. And yes, you are doing good for the state of Mississippi and our herd. And the more people that participate, the more people that harvest deer, the more samples we get, the better we're going to be. We'll continue with more coming up next. All right. I know we had some other stuff we wanted to get to. We can go back and do this. I think, really and truthfully, just because a lot of people have a lot of questions about this extended season in North Mississippi, a couple of things, Reed, you probably need to go over, Major Reed. And one thing we need to stress, you cannot take deer out of the CWD zone unless they're boned. But what we're wanting to do is trying to make the situation a little bit easier here for folks and give them a chance to check it. So kind of go into that right now if you're killing deer in this extended season.
Yeah, so in the CWD management zone, the north zone, 19 counties, the extended deer season does not include the South Delta CWD zone. And so in that zone, there are probably, 15 or so drop-off locations, and we'll add some that aren't listed on the map. And I was thinking about it, that if somebody comes up or they travel from South Mississippi or Jackson or wherever the case may be, and there may be a drop-off location on their way home listed on the map, they would violate the transport regulation if they leave the management zone with the deer in tow, because the one thing that you need to do if you do transport a deer from within a CWD zone outside of the zone is to remove all the brain matter. Debone meat, the skull plate apart from the skull and all that, the horns, cut off the skull plate with no brain matter. But the sample is held within all the stuff that we want you to get rid of when you're transporting it outside. And so if that's the case, you need to look for a drop-off location located within the management zone in North Mississippi, because you can put the deer whole in the back of the truck and ride around like in the years past if you're inside the management zone. And so that's something that the viewers or the hunters who are looking to pursue this extra opportunity need to be aware of. Even though you may be doing a good thing and trying to get it sampled, you would be in violation if you leave out of the management zone in North Mississippi.
And like you said, there's 12 or 15 different
All
drop-off
right,
locations.
now I got
up there.
and I'm asking this question. I'm not trying to be a thorn in your side. So, if I kill a deer, my buddy's place in Tillatoba that weekend, right? I take it and I go get it sampled.
Yeah.
Do I still have to bone it? I do. Okay.
Yep.
I still have to bone it.
Yeah, the debone meat and all that stuff, all
Okay.
all those things would still apply.
So just giving the sample and then hauling butt and taking it down to my processor hit down here, that's not going to work. Still got to debone it.
Yeah.
Folks, that's not that hard too. You can do
No,
it
we've
while-
been doing it already.
and it's not hard. You can do it while it's on the gambrel anyway. I mean, it's it's easy.
Yeah. If you got a Sawzall or something along those lines and you're at camp, and you clean the deer and you debone it and do all that stuff, just, take the head and place it to the side and then find one of those drop-offs within the zone and drop the head off. How many inches below the ears, Butler?
5 to 6, something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
It's not that
Is Alcorn County in the CWD hunt zone? I don't think they are, Mike. I think right next door to you is. Let me double check. I'm going to go to the website. You guys don't have it here in front of me. I don't think
Yeah, I don't
Alcorn.
It is in the zone.
It is? Hang on. I can't remember. I thought it was right next door to it, but hang on, and I'll do that. We'll continue. A little bit more about where the areas people can drop off in North Mississippi. Talk about that again.
Yeah, so as Chris was saying, the drop-off locations that we've already had in place are going to be there. So if you go, when you turn the head in, the little perforated card, you'll keep one half. So that's showing that you did drop off and, fill the legal requirement. In addition to that, we'll have some check stations, kind of the old school style, like some of the older hunters may remember from way back in the day. Those will be right now looking at Charleston, Batesville, Bahia, Lamar, and Pontotoc. And so those will have from 8 to 7, both those days they'll have our staff there, so you can just roll up.
I stand corrected. Alcorn County is in it. You are correct, Mr. Reed.
So you'll be able to roll up and our staff do what we need to do and go about your way. Shouldn't take more than a minute, really, once you get there.
Your north. This is the areas where it applies. I knew there was one county over there that wasn't, and that's
you're right.
That's Tishomingo. Here's where you can hunt on February 8th and 9th. Alcorn, Benton, Carroll, DeSoto, Grenada, Lafayette, Lee, LaFleur, Marshall, Panola, Pontotoc, Prentiss, Quitman, Sunflower, Tallahatchie, Tate, Tippah, Union, and Yalobusha counties. That is your area. You can go to mdwfp.com. You can go to the CWD management zone, and you can see the area where we are talking about. And it basically is all of North Mississippi, except for Tunica and Tishomingo counties, and the counties that are just to the side of it. You can see it there. But again, you can hunt those extra 2 days in Alcorn, Benton, Carroll, DeSoto, Grenada, Lafayette, Lee, LaFleur, Marshall, Panola, Pontotoc, Prentiss, Quitman, Sunflower, Tallahatchie, Tate, Tippah, Union, and Yalobusha counties. And that's where you're at right there, and that's what we're doing. Weapon of choice.
Weapon of choice.
If you're on private lands, $2. One could be a spike. One could be sub-criteria. And that also includes the Upper Sardis WMA and the Holly Springs National Forest. All the other WMA areas are $2, must meet antler requirement, and 5 does. Guys, I'll be honest with you, and I'm just going to give you JT's personal opinion here, and I'll try not to do that too much here on this show because I know this is about y'all and what you're doing. But I think this is a home run idea, and the reason why I say that is we all know we haven't had the ideal hunting conditions this year.
It's rained a little bit, JT.
It's rained a little bit.
The weekends have been wet.
More than a little
Weekends
bit.
have been wet.
Yeah.
We've had some weather. We've had some situations. We've just had things that have given us problems. And like I said, this gives the hunter the opportunity to participate in this sampling that's going to happen anyway. So let the hunters help do this and give the hunters a chance. Folks, listen, I know there's a lot of people that hunt and don't eat the meat. Donate it. There's Hunters Harvest.
Oh yeah.
They're every soup kitchen that I know of, every homeless shelter that I know of take deer meat. You can do that. I know a lot of people that I know people here that'll take deer meat. Ask me all the time, JT, when are you going to kill me a deer? That kind of stuff. There's people out there that would love to have this. So think about that as that type of opportunity as well. Think about doing something, helping the fellow mankind, helping somebody else. Maybe somebody that, maybe not on their best of luck right now that could use some meat, man. I tell you what, ground up deer meat, there's nothing better.
Well, that's all we use in our house.
Heck yeah.
We don't, every now and then we'll get some ground beef.
Why? It's $5+ a pound.
My wife goes on these little tangents in the grocery store and just whatever.
Be careful,
son.
Be careful, son.
And she cooks a divine meal with
I
it.
see him backing up now.
Yeah.
Don't you?
But it's not that we just came to this just one Friday afternoon right before 5 o'clock. I mean, this has been a thought out deal with biologists and people who are well educated in this whole realm of deer hunting. It's not going to do I can't speak to the educated on deer type deal, but it's not going to do a whole lot of damage to the herd as far as harvesting this time of year. Some people may think, well, it's February 8th and 9th. The deer are going to be whatever, or the deer horns may have fallen off at that point. Well, that's the chances of that happening are not as great as getting samples. And so that opportunity
and one
outweighed.
thing, we've talked on the show about our statewide goal, trying to get 10,000 samples this year. What we probably hadn't clarified is that each individual county also has a goal. So we have county by county goals, and that number is based basically upon some backdoor statistics to try to determine how many samples would we need to get if the disease were at a 1% prevalence. So if 1 out of every 100 deer in the county were carrying CWD, how many samples would we need to get to be able to detect that, or have a reasonable chance of detecting that if that was the prevalence? And so each of those counties, or every county in the state, has a target that we're trying to get to. And these northern counties in that northern CWD zone, we have not made the county by county goal for a lot of those. And like we were saying, we can look across the state line there at Tennessee, who has required, I think I'm correct on this, that Tennessee has required mandatory sampling of every deer killed in those adjacent counties. So
really?
That's part of the reason why they've been able to get 12,000 samples in that area. So we look across the line and we can see kind of what their prevalence rate is and where the disease is in their state. And we're still trying to kind of feel our way through in those northern tier counties. So that's the reasoning behind this.
One more segment to go. Questions, we'll answer them as fast as we can. Super Talk Mississippi, the JT Show, Mississippi Outdoors Radio. More on the way for you next. All right, Adam Butler, what you got here on Mississippi Outdoors TV? In here
JT, I'm a little bit partial to the old wild turkey. And this week we're going to have a turkey hunt on Mississippi Outdoors TV.
90 proof or 101?
Yeah, I don't know what
you meant hunting. You're talking about the bird. I got
family show,
not
JT. It's
the
family
brown
show.
water.
But this is actually pretty cool. Folks down in Copiah County for several years now have had a veterans hunt. They do a deer and turkey hunt, and they're able to pull in veterans from all over the country from a number of different conflicts. And this week, going to have a veteran on there turkey hunting down there in Copiah County at the Slay Wilderness. So not only is it turkey hunting, so that's worth watching, but a really, really special event that they're going to have. Second segment is going to be a canoe float down multiple waterways of Mississippi. So I like to say I like to canoe and hadn't done it as much recently as I'd like to, but it's Mississippi's blessed with a lot of different really nice places to paddle on if you're into that kind of thing, canoeing and kayaking. And so that's the second segment's going to feature a number of different rivers and paddling and fishing down those. Big Sunflower, Yakanukuni, Leaf River into the Pascagoula, and even Pelahatchie Bay right here close to the metro. So kind of a little different sort of a thing, but I think viewers will like it, and it really showcases some of the really cool, non-consumptive outdoor
canoeing and
resources we got
kayaking
here.
are just really taking off.
Yeah.
Around the country, not just here in Mississippi. And it's an opportunity for people who may not be, a hunter or fisherman, but they want to get out. And
we're really blessed here in the state. We talked about the Bear Creek up there at Tishomingo State Park last week, I think. But, we've got a number of really awesome places. JT, you're from Covington County, got land down there,
Not from there, but I got land down there. My grandparents from down there.
Yeah, there's some good ones
the
there.
Oklahoma's as good as it gets, buddy.
People come from all over there. So anyway, we highlighting that on the second segment. So Mississippi Outdoors TV airs on Thursday nights at 7:30 on MPB, and if you miss it, it'll re-air Saturdays at 5:30. And then you can always tune in on our website. All of that stuff gets usually posted up on the website and the Facebook and that kind of thing, YouTube. Mm-hmm. So.
Talking about turkey hunting, the veterans hunt, Butler was tossing an idea around for a spring show for us in here would be he finds a turkey, we all go pursue the wild gobbler, and you shoot it, and then we talk about it on the air the next week.
You want me to shoot it?
Oh, yeah. See, sure. JT, what this really is, if you're really a hardcore turkey addict, JT, you just cook up excuses to get out and chase turkeys. You have to rationalize it somehow.
Dude, I've tried it, and I don't know how to do it. You understand? And I've tried calling, and I've never even gotten a gobbler to answer.
I think
me.
the three of us ought to go.
I think it'd be a good.
And then we could
put the love triangle on.
Have a little cooking.
I have never been able to even get a gobbler to answer me. And I've gotten on the video, and I've learned, and I've tried to do all that. And
Butler wears tennis shoes when he turkey hunts.
Why is that?
What?
Well, anybody that turkey hunts knows why people wear tennis shoes. So he's good at chasing the wild gobbler. And if you wear tennis shoes and you gotta depart from an area really fast.
Yeah.
Come on, Reed.
I'm just kidding.
I stay within the law.
I'm joking.
I do stay within the law.
Turkey hunters, people joke about there's no really property lines when you're turkey hunting. And if you do have to cross over your neighbor's property, some people wear tennis shoes when they go so they can take off running if the
Sounds like trouble to
He's-
me. He's just trying to start mess with you
boys
any
are,
day.
yeah, leveling
Um,
all kind of accusations
You know,
today.
I have always been told that if you ever
Yeah.
call a turkey in
Yeah.
and you fool him enough to think that you're a hen and you're waiting on him for some love and you come in there and you take him, that you're hooked for life.
It's an addiction.
You know, Chip
definitely is an
Ward
addiction.
went on a turkey hunt last year.
Did he kill one?
We got close.
Got close.
We did. We got on a turkey that
Pretty close.
man, Chip was there ready. You could see his knees starting to shake.
Oh, he's getting nervous?
Yeah, a turkey fired up at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Most of the times, that's a slam dunk.
Usually.
And it just didn't pan out, disappear. I think the turkey was involved in the rapture of sorts because he just disappeared.
And,
Well-
and then the best part is those fried turkey nuggets at the end.
Come on.
I'm all in for all of that. Sounds like
I
a
got
lot of
tickled.
fun.
If you saw the 30th anniversary show of Mississippi Outdoors, they had Jerry Clower on there.
Yeah.
And one of the guys was talking about this new recipe for cooking turkey, and Jerry
Yeah.
Clower said, "We don't need no new recipe.
Mm-mm.
All we need is a little bit of batter and a little bit of grease. That's all you
Mhm.
need."
That's it.
He was a funny man.
Yeah,
he was a funny man. All right, guys, if you got any more information, Reed, if anybody does have any information, give them the number to call if they're confused about this upcoming extra season.
Yeah, 601
Mhm.
432 2400.
Okay, and there's a
we can-
biologist
yep.
there
Mhm.
to answer your questions, mdwfp.com. And we'll talk more about this again next Monday as well, as we'll be getting into it then for sure and giving people even any more information. This is for you, folks. This is for you, so take advantage of it. All right, gentlemen, have a good week. I'll see you next Monday right here for more Mississippi Outdoors Radio, brought to you by the Foundation for Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. Have a good afternoon.